Scarlett Sinclair POV. The tracks were the only place I ever felt free. Away from the whispers, away from the endless expectations of being Scarlett. Sinclair, the golden daughter of old money, the perfect picture of grace. Here, with the wind in my hair and the roar of my engine beneath me, I could finally breathe. I could finally be me. Tonight, the crowd was louder than usual, anticipation humming in the air like electricity. They were betting on me, and on him, my biggest rival, my biggest mistake. Antonio Persico. They called him the Reaper on the tracks, undefeated, untouchable and utterly insufferable. His visor was down, but even through the dark glass, I could feel his gaze burning into me, cold, sharp, infuriating. He'd won every race he ever joined. No one had dared to challenge him. No one but me. And maybe I regretted it. Just a little, because everyone knew Antonio never lost. But I couldn't back down now. I wasn't raised to be weak. And I sure as hell wouldn't let that arrogant bastard think I was scared of him. The announcer's voice echoed through the night as the engines came alive. My friend Kylie nudged my arm, snapping me out of my thoughts. "Girl, do your best," she said, grinning. "Caleb's here to see you." Caleb, the golden boy of our university. My harmless crush. Soccer captain, charm personified. I found him easily in the crowd, his smile bright under the lights as he threw me a thumbs up. My chest fluttered. I took a deep breath. "I'm ready," I said. And I was... The world blurred as I revved my bike, taking my position beside him. The crowd roared, and then... Go! The sound of engines drowned everything else out. My heart pounded against my ribs as I pushed forward, the wind slicing past me. Antonio's bike stayed right beside mine, our speeds matching like two predators circling the same prey. 100. 120. 130. My control was slipping, but I didn't care. I couldn't let him win, not tonight. Not in front of Caleb. The finish line was close. Every nerve in my body screamed, every cell burned. And then, I crossed first, 2 seconds ahead of him. The crowd erupted, but all I could hear was the blood rushing through my ears. I slowed my bike, stopping as people swarmed me. Cheers, cameras, champagne. Kylie screamed my name, running toward me. I'd done it. I'd actually beaten the Reaper himself. My gaze flicked to him through the chaos. His helmet was off now, his dark eyes fixed on me from across the crowd. That look, unreadable, unblinking, made something cold crawl down my spine. I looked away, forcing a smile when Caleb walked up to me. "You were unstoppable out there," he said, his grin boyish and warm. "I knew you could do it." "Thanks," I said, trying to ignore how Antonio's gaze still burned against my skin. The announcer's voice echoed again. "Tonight's winner, Scarlett Sinclair." Champagne sprayed, music blared, and then everything went still. Because I heard him. "Congratulations, Tesoro." The words slid from his tongue like smoke. Sweet, taunting, dangerous. My pulse skipped. "Thank you," I said, matching his mockery with a smile. He smirked, that damned dimple flashing like a warning light. He leaned in, his breath brushing against my ear. "Meet me behind the tracks," he murmured. And then he walked away. My heart shouldn't have stuttered, but it did. Damn it. Kylie's voice snapped me out of my haze. What did he say? "He wants to meet me behind the tracks." Her eyes widened. "You're not actually going, are you?" "I'm curious." She sighed. "Be careful, Scar. If anything happens, call me. We'll be at the club celebrating." I nodded, watching her disappear into the crowd before slipping my helmet back on and heading behind the tracks. He was there, leaning against his bike like he owned the night. The moonlight caught on the leather of his jacket, highlighting the lines of his body, broad shoulders, jaw set like sin itself. "Took you long enough," he said. His voice was low, rough, almost a growl. "You really think beating me makes you untouchable?" He pushed off his bike, closing the distance between us. I had to tilt my chin up to meet his eyes. Dark, calm, terrifyingly steady. "I just think it means you're not invincible," I shot back. A smirk, that damn dimple again. "Since you're so confident, Tesoro, let's make a bet." My brows furrowed. "A bet?" "Next week. Same track, same time. But the rules are different." He stepped closer, his voice dipping low enough to make my pulse trip. "If you win, I'll admit you're the best racer out there. But if I win," his eyes gleamed, "you'll let me have what I want." My throat went dry. and why would I agree to that? He tilted his head, amusement darkening his features. Are you scared? No. My voice betrayed me, softer than I meant it to be. Then you won't have a problem racing me again, he said, stepping back with that smug grin before turning toward his bike. What do you get if you win? I called after him. He paused, glancing over his shoulder. You'll find out. Before I could say another word, he slid his helmet on, revved his bike, and disappeared into the night, leaving only the echo of his engine and the sound of my pulse racing way too fast. I hated him. I hated how his voice lingered in my head. And I hated even more that a part of me wanted to see what he'd do next. By the time I reached the club, I was trying to shake him off. The bouncer nodded. Miss Sinclair, your table's ready. Inside, the air was thick with bass and laughter. My friends were waiting with champagne, cake, and wide smiles. You were crazy, Jake shouted. You literally beat Antonio Persico. That guy never loses. Not anymore, Kylie smirked. There's a new queen on the track. I laughed, but it faded when I said, he challenged me to another race. The table fell silent. He what? Brianna asked. He did, I said. Kylie groaned. He just can't accept defeat. Exactly, Xavier muttered. Jake leaned in. You're not actually doing it, are you? I can't back down, I said. Not now. Girl, Kylie warned, don't get dragged into whatever twisted game he's playing. Before I could answer, Xavier's phone rang. He picked it up and the color drained from his face. What happened? We all asked at once. He looked up slowly. Someone beat the hell out of Caleb. He's in the hospital. My blood turned to ice. What? Yes, he's messed up bad. We didn't waste a second. We rushed to the hospital, the sterile lights burning above us as we found his room. Caleb's mother sat beside his bed, crying softly. His face was bruised, swollen. He looked barely conscious. I stepped closer, my heart breaking. Caleb, who did this to you? He looked at me weakly, voice cracked and broken. Antonio, Kylie gasped. And I froze. Rage, disbelief, and something darker burned through my veins. What the fuck was wrong with that bastard?
Antonio Persico, POV. She won. She actually fucking won. For the first time in years, I lost. But somehow, it didn't feel like a loss. Not when it came to her. Because even if the race was hers, Scarlett Sinclair had just become mine. The way she looked at me after crossing that finish line, she knew. I could see it in her eyes, that spark she tried so hard to ignore. The one that burned through all the hate. I'd felt it too, deep in my gut. Something violent and electric. I should have hated her for it. Instead, I wanted more. She didn't belong in my world. She was light, privilege, gold wrapped in silk. I was everything her world feared, sin, smoke, and secrets. But watching her rip through that track, beating me at my own game, made something dark inside me wake up, something that whispered she was never meant to stay untouched. And then there was him, that pretty motherfucker, Caleb. The way she smiled at him, that soft, easy smile she'd never once given me, twisted something ugly in my chest. I couldn't stop seeing it, couldn't stop thinking about how he didn't deserve it. He didn't understand what that smile meant. So when I saw his car pull up beside me at a red light later that night, the decision came easy. Too easy. Time for a little revenge, baby. The signal turned green, and I followed him. The road stretched empty ahead, just him and me, and the hum of the city fading behind. When I finally cut in front of his car, he slammed on the brakes. I could practically smell his fear through the tinted glass. He rolled down his window, confusion written all over his face. Antonio, is that you? I stepped off my bike and walked straight toward him. Get out. He hesitated. Mistake. He finally climbed out, trying to act casual. But I saw it, the flicker of fear in his eyes. What's up, man? He said, as if we were old friends. You made her smile. Made who smile? His fake cluelessness snapped something inside me. Scarlett. He laughed, the sound sharp and arrogant. Oh, that? What's it to you? You don't deserve her smile. He smirked. You think I don't know she's got a crush on me? Half the campus knows. I know, I said, stepping closer. That's why you're in trouble. He chuckled like an idiot. Relax, man. I don't even like her like that. She's hot, sure, but she's not the type who listens. I'll keep her around for a while, though. My fist hit his jaw before he could finish. The sound of the impact cracked through the quiet night, and God, it felt good. You think you can fucking talk about her like that? I hissed, grabbing his shirt. He tried to talk, but I slammed his head into the car window. Glass cracked, blood spilled, and his scream tore through the air. It was music, dark, broken, familiar, the kind I'd grown up hearing from my father's basement. But this was better. I hit him again and again until his knees gave out and he collapsed. I leaned over him, breathing hard. The next time you even say her name, I said, my voice low, deadly calm, I'll make sure your head isn't the only thing I smash. He didn't move, didn't dare. I got back on my bike, blood dripping from my knuckles, adrenaline still pulsing through my veins. The sight of him broken on the ground should have made me feel guilty. It didn't. If anything, I felt good. Too good. Because now she wouldn't smile at him again. My phone buzzed just as I was about to take off one of my father's men. "To Padre 𝐸𝐻𝐸𝐻 nel suo ufficio," he said. "Your father wants you in his office." "Sarah 𝐸𝐩𝐸𝐻," I replied, hanging up. 10 minutes? The king wanted his heir. I'll be there in 10. I rode toward the mansion, the night wind biting against my bruised skin. The taste of blood still lingered on my tongue, metallic, hot, addictive. And then my phone rang again. Her name lit up the screen. I knew Caleb was in the hospital already. He'd probably cried his way there. Such a pussy. I couldn't help but smirk as I answered. "Hello, Tesoro," I drawled. Her voice came sharp, furious, shaking through the line. "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I could practically see the fire in her eyes. "What's wrong? Did I do something this time?" I asked, tone dripping with mockery. "You beat him, Antonio. You put him in the hospital." "The reason's simple," I said quietly. "What?" "He made you smile." And before she could respond, before she could curse me again, I hung up. The silence after was deafening, heavy with all the things I couldn't say. She didn't know it yet, but I wasn't done with her. Not even close.